Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity, where last time we did some bounty hunting. We got some levels, everybody got some levels, got some money, and we're good to go. We're ready to get back into the main quest of things a little bit here. We do have some more bounties to do, but they're further away. We also have the Master Below to do, but we probably could do it. Do you guys want to do that right now?
I must say, I'm impressed.
Maybe. Is everybody level... So we're level 15. I don't know. Are we strong enough?
Hey.
I don't know. Let's wait until everybody gets to at least level 14. I think that's going to be the plan. So we'll go do a couple of things in Defiance Bay. Speaking of going to do a couple of things, what do we have to do? Oh, we have to go to the Sanitarium. Alright, that's what we're going to do. Let's go do the Sanitarium. That's what it's called, right? Something like that. Going back to Defiance Bay, man, it's been so long, it feels like. It's going to be great. Yep, this is the crew. Brackenbury. 22 hours. Nice long. It's probably gonna be night when we get there. Actually, it shouldn't be. Early morning at the earliest, or at the latest, at the darkest. Beryl, an Adiran dignitary, has arrived at the stronghold. He requests your aid with an upcoming meeting with representatives of the Fisher Crane tribe near the Thane Bog. Mineha finishes escorting a supplicant and returns to the stronghold. Very nice. Average adventurer. What is this? I guess Durance, go do that. That's not anything to worry about. That's good. Okay. Back in Brackenbury. Back in Defiance Bay. What's this? Did we ever go in there? I don't know. I'm going to assume we did all of that exploration stuff already, and I'm assuming we did look at everybody's souls already, so I don't need to do that. If I didn't miss any souls here, because I remember I think when we were exploring this place is when I was really sick. So I think I may have missed some souls. Let me know if I did. Cyril? How are you doing out here? You should have seen the looks on those nobles' faces when I moved in. Oh yeah, she's the prostitute that we gave the amulet to, right? Or no, we didn't give the amulet to her. We paid a lot of money for the amulet. Gotcha. I remember. I remember now. Okay. So let's talk to the warden here.
Hail and well met.
Ah, the Watcher. What brings you here? You may have a member of the Leaden Key in your midst. Ethelmore groans and the stone around him shudders. I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions been... Did I read? Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or whether calamity has struck on its own. But a few of their less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They are a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I am reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect they would be of some use in verifying one's identity. You are at odds with the Leaden Key as well, I take it? They have something I need. They are up to something and I'm trying to determine what. I don't like what they stand for. I wouldn't say that. Trying to think back onto everything we know about the Leaden Key. Have they done any... I guess what they did in Heritage Hill was pretty bad. And I suppose what they did all the way at the beginning could be bad too. Although that one seemed like they were doing some sort of internal ritual thing. I don't approve of a cult that sacrifices its members for some sort of higher power. But in terms of, you know, bad, I mean, it's bad, but like Heritage Hill was worse, I think, because that was not their members. They were messing with the souls of. Do we want to stop them? Do we like what they stand for? I don't really know what they stand for yet. They're up to something, and I'm trying to determine what. That is true. They have something I need. That's just Theos, right? We just need Theos to answer questions for us. Or I wouldn't say that. They're up to something, and I'm trying to determine what. They are always up to something. Of that you may rest assured. If their plots have come to involve you, you have my sympathies. Do you have some idea of who this person might be? I suspect it's a patient. I won't know until I've met them. It would be unwise to consider anyone above suspicion. It would be unwise to do that. Very well. In that case, I would recommend you speak first with our resident animators. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here, or in their offices downstairs. You will report anything suspicious to me immediately. This is my only request. Does anyone here know anything about awakenings? There's an animancer on the lower level, or the lower floor, who came all the way from Riverwa to study them. Take the stairs down and look for Beliseg. Beliseg? Farewell. We've talked to them before. Okay, let's question the animancers. Oddmore.
Gods keep you.
A bald man with a crooked nose gestures in demonstration over the still body of a patient before a small gathering of interested onlookers. Feeling your gaze, he pauses his discussion. Have you come to sit in? Has anything unusual or suspicious been happening around here? I'd like to know more about the Sanitarium. What is it you do here? Do you know anything about awakenings? Tell me about the Sanitarium. He gives an eager nod. It's the mission that attracted me here. The treatment of the disturbed. No one else seems to care about them. Here, they've worked wonders for them. I've seen people cured of insatiable hungers and uncontrollable urges. I've seen the crippled walk and the dysphoric smile, all within these walls. The thought that the Duke could put an end to it with a single order keeps me up at nights. Oh, well, I'm not done with you.
Gods keep you.
What do you do here? Close as we are to the Glamfathan wilds, we get a number of Beowick maimings every year. Survivors dealing with complications from exposure. The fellow here is a severe case. His essence is a mere whisper of what it was. I am early in my research, only beginning to understand how they work, but in time, I hope to find a way to protect people from the storm's effects. That's actually very good. Did you know I was in a Beowick?
Good day, stranger.
I'm pretty cool, aren't I? Do you know anything about awakenings? I'm afraid that's not my area of expertise. Okay, I guess you are not the leading key. No, I didn't really question you very well, I don't feel like, but, you know, it is what it is. Is it only named animancers I need to talk to? Yeah, okay. Animancers. You're the one up here is the one we gave the relic to. Nans. Nans regards you with bright, intelligent eyes. Can I help you with something else? I'm investigating possible leading key activity in the Sanitarium. Seen anything suspicious? Oh, I'm afraid I'm too wrapped up in my own research to pay any mind to what else is going on around here. One of the other animancers might know something, though. What do you know about awakenings? Not much, I'm afraid, but the Sanitarium attracts experts from all over. I'm sure someone here can help you out. Farewell. The man who waits. What is that? Oh, that's just what we're doing. The paintings of a rolling forest glen has a strangely soothing effect. And I feel like it's going to be one of those days where I'm having trouble reading. I don't know what's going on. I do know I'm out of coffee, though. That's a bummer. Big bummer. Okay, so you're the awakened person, right? Yeah, Belisage. Something else you need? I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Are you the animancer who's been buying relics from Imital? Well, we already know she's not, but let's gray it out. From what? I don't know this place. Okay. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. She laughs bitterly. That would be me. Though the lack of research subjects has made me more of an expert in counting floorboards. I would like to transfer animancy's success in buttressing pre-awakened souls to soothing those whose souls have already awakened. But I need subjects, and most of the patients here are too broken to produce reliable results. It is a tragedy to have come so far for nothing. You're in luck. I have a volunteer. She springs to the balls of her feet, beaming. Gellard, who is it? Aloth's lips curl into a frown. I don't know about this. She grins more broadly still. Don't be silly. The process is perfectly harmless. All you must do is stand in that cage. I beg your pardon? I jest. The Adirans are so uptight. Or you Adirans are so uptight. I do not even know what the thing is used for. It belonged to the last occupant of this office, I think. Now they upgrade him to a cell. Again, I jest. Okay. She rubs her hands together, getting down to business. So, I need you to sit here. She takes Aloth by the shoulders and steers him to the couch. And try to relax. But don't try too hard. Then you will not be relaxing. Indeed. His eyes are humorless. And you must also wear these. A little cold, but the copper will help conduct your essence. The Animancer fastens thick copper bands to Aloth's forehead and wrists. As she ratchets them tighter, his face twitches with suppressed irritation. Now, I will examine your soul through my scope. She reaches into her desk and produces a long chambered tube. Knobs, dials, and small toothed wheels run along the side of the device. It is fitted with Adra lenses, cut to different thicknesses and concavities. Concavities. By manipulating them, I find the angles and densities that will allow me to track the anomalies in your soul. How exciting! I've never seen this sort of thing performed. Kana peers at the device with interest. It seems suitably complicated. Does this mean we'll get to talk to Isomir more? I like that lady. She raises a finger. But first, we must find this cunning interloper. You will answer some personal questions while I make adjustments. Good luck. You'd have an easier time getting straight answers out of a drunk priest of Whale. Aloth squirms on the couch. Very well. She holds the scope to her eyes. Her eye and flicks a knob. To begin, tell me something personal. Something from a time before your awakening. Oh, there's nothing to tell. I was just a normal child living in the Sithwood. He looks to you. His face is set in a frown, but the rigid edges of apprehension show through nevertheless. Talk about your parents. What do you remember about your home? As you speak to Aloth, you feel your voice like a bell in your chest. It tolls softly, luring him into the mists of his own memory. Belisage doesn't seem to notice anything, but you feel as if your words are smoothing his essence, untangling its many threads. He closes his eyes. Comfortable. Modest. Quiet when mother is away, which is most of the time. Quiet enough to hear the clink of glass on wood. This is when I know to be most careful. Father is good about hiding the bottles. Mother, when she is home, is good at pretending not to notice them. This is good. I'm starting to see something. Continue. Tell us about the time you awakened. She bites her tongue as she twists one of the dials. I am in my 5th year of training. Mother is home. I can let my guard down a little because when she's around, he is usually only angry with her. But he has heard that I have had trouble casting missiles. That my flame shields are unstable. He is furious that I have failed, and Mother's presence reminds him that he has failed too. The first blow takes me by surprise. One moment I am sweeping the kitchen. The next I am sprawled on the ground, stupidly looking at flecks of my own blood on the tile. His boots, glistening with fresh polish, thud across the floor. He kicks me in the stomach, and I curl up to shield my vitals. But it is pointless. Protecting one thing only leaves something else exposed. Still huddled on the ground, I retreat as fast as I can. I retreat into the vision of the kitchen, and my own trembling knees is nothing but a pinprick against a field of black. His jaw locks and his eyes twitch beneath their lids. Medicio! Belisage furiously cranks the knobs along her scope. He's hypnotized himself with his old memory. You've got to bring him out of it, quickly. I almost have it. Squeeze Aloth's hand. You're safe. Everything's fine. Shake him by the shoulders. Aloth, you've got to wake up. This is just a memory. It isn't real. Slap Aloth. Squeeze his hand. Aloth's eyes snap open, but the expression you see in them isn't his. Isn't it safe when I hap upon him? Belisage sucks a deep breath through her teeth. That's it! I'm seeing a shift in his essence. Something spreading and congealing. She glances at you over her scope. Keep talking. He seems to respond to you. What brought you here? Cracking bones and voices high in ire. That warm molasses feeling that crips down your gut when crisis is nigh. That's different. Perfetto. We have flares of a totally distinct essence. She jots shorthand notes onto the pages next to her and turns one clicking knob to a knob of her scope. Now, try to get the two of them talking. Aloth, ask Isilmir what she's doing. Aloth's face twists in fury. Sticking weed, warming parasite. He bursts into sudden laughter. You'd say the same thing to your own kindled twig when it betrays ye. Her voice is difficult to do. Eddie grins. Must be hard to avoid knowing there's a lady in your body the whole time, judging you. Good. Yes, very good. She rests from her scribbling, only to make another adjustment to her scope. I can now see two separate patterns of essence. Where he ebbs, the other flows. It's as if the awakened soul fills the spaces that he leaves empty. She prompts you with the circling of her wrist, quill still in hand. Go on. Aloth, what's this about ceding space to Isilmir? Do you want to keep talking to Aloth, or should we switch to Isilmir? Isilmir, what exactly are you taking from him? Yeah, let's talk to Isilmir this time. Nigh more than I'm giving. You should ask what I did to that old man of his. How the last time he laid a hand on us, I break it in 3 places. Aloth's head jerks to the side. That wasn't your decision. It's never been your decision. Nigh was awakening, but now I'm stuck with ye, and damned if I let your ninnying drag us both through the scupper. Ack, very good. She lowers her scope and consults her notes. I think I've finally got something we can work with. I've tracked Isilmir's essence throughout this exchange. She had a particularly high density index during the most heated portions of their argument, and her essence seemed to localize most clearly in the lower portion of the subject's left ribcage. That's right around the spleen, which, of course, means that she is triggered by black bile. No doubt the subject's characteristic melancholy is to blame. Aloth blinks back at you, and in the midst of his perturbation, you're not quite sure who's looking out of his eyes. That's utter horse shit. How gracious. She glares at him. Yes, never mind my years of training. I suppose you have a better explanation. Isilmir manifests when Aloth is in danger or under pressure. You're close. I think Isilmir's appearances are related to potential sources of trouble for Aloth. Aloth's right. That's absurd. Isilmir obviously shows up when he feels threatened. If you're right, then removing Aloth's spleen should cure him. Isilmir manifests when Aloth is in danger or under pressure. That seems to be the case. Belisage carefully scratches her jaw, her gaze darting between you and Aloth. I suppose that could be true. She jots down another note. I'll have to check this again against other research. He removes the copper bands. Well and good for you, but what does this mean for me? Belisage frowns at her notes, tapping her cheek with a quill and making a grand show of concentration. However, you catch her stealing a glance at you over the pages. Isilmir tries to take control from you when she thinks you can't face a problem on your own. You can't let her make these decisions for you. She did you a favor by dealing with your father, didn't she? I think she's trying to help you stand up for yourself. You may not like her methods, but you should hear her out. It seems that Isilmir steps in when she's determined that you're in danger. It's not clear yet whether this is a help or a hindrance. I think she's trying to genuinely help you. Even if it's just like a self-preservation sort of help, right? I don't think she's trying to harm you. She did you a favor. If you had to listen to her half as much as I do, you wouldn't say that, he scowls. But you notice something thoughtful in his frown. I've got a lot to process. Regardless, thank you for your help, Glacia. He does not look at Belisage. She sets her notes on her desk and returns to her scope. Well, I hope this has been useful. I hope this has been as useful to you as it has been to me. I finally have material worth publishing. You'll be the toast of Revua. Fintre? Eloth. Assuming that says goodbye, or means goodbye of some sort. Good chunk of experience. He grimaces. His grimace melts into a crooked smile. Aye, advancing the right-wise principles of animancy. Just what you've always wanted. As you turn to leave, you catch a darting movement out of the corner of your eye. Belisage is humming to herself, still occupied with her scope, but Aloth is holding her notes. He's just about to tuck them into his cloak when he catches you watching. He folds a finger to his lips, his eyes wide and imploring. Please, I don't want my personal information published like this, especially not after her nonsense. No, you get your explanation, she gets her research. That was the deal. Did we make a deal? We didn't make a deal. Leave me out of this. Fair enough, but do it quietly. I can't let you do that, not after hearing how much this means to her. I mean, I feel like there are other ways to handle this, right? Like, I mean, one, there should have been, if there was a deal involved, it probably should have been like some sort of confidentiality agreement. It seems very unprofessional of her. We could always have it like we could have had it where, you know, hey, you can't use Aloth's name or any personal information about him. You have to change that information, but you can keep the like results and stuff. But apparently we didn't, and she doesn't seem like she... I guess we're assuming she would not accept that. So in that case, fair enough. Do it quietly. He hides the papers in his cloak. Not to worry. We'll see to this on our own. It seems like they've kind of merged a little bit. Interesting. Okay, well. Was that the end of his quest? I wish this went in order. I don't think it does. I guess we can just look through here to be quicker. Looks like it was. I don't know if we'll get more for him. I hope so. Alright, Modred.
Good day, stranger.
Yes? Are you the animancer who's been buying relics from Imital? Who? I don't have time to barter with adventurers, if that's what this is about. Has anything unusual been happening around here? You must be joking. This is the Sanitarium. Nothing is usual down here. He pauses. Although, now that I think about it, the patients seem more agitated lately. But they're Caedmon Azo's responsibility, not mine. Modred nods, taking a deep breath. Then if there's nothing else, who are you working for? What are you working on? My area of focus is wicks. More specifically, how to cure them. What's a wict? A hollowborn who received a transplanted animal soul during infancy. One of Animancy's early efforts to cure the legacy, if not a successful one. He removes his spectacles and wipes his brow. They show signs of developmental abnormalities throughout their childhood, but when they reach adolescence, they become aggressive, feral, but still victims in need of care. I see. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. I hear that Valian woman studies them. We should go talk to her instead. Okay. Yep. Okay. The man who waits. Hello, Ripley. Oh.
Why not?
I'll take this. Free stuff. Okay. I guess we're reading these. Northward patient record. Batixa. The Pale Lady. Subject is female, mid-40s, awakened to a past life as a serial murderer, which now frequently emerges as the soul's dominant personality. Subject vacillates between violence and severe depression resulting from guilt of past deeds. Weak candidate for present research. It's a quest item. North Ward patient record, Graham. Subject is a male, approximately early 30s. Powers of speech absent presumably as a result of the overfragmentation of his soul. As such, he is the ideal subject for present research. However, experimentation has caused severe pain and induced panic, and I have had to enlist the aid of the guards in transporting him for more recent procedures. Okay. Doesn't sound good. North Ward patient record Idelman, the Midnight Man. Subject is male, mid-20s. Displays acute dissociation and paranoid delusional tendencies, causing anger and extreme violence. Dangers of working with the subject preclude possibility of further use in present research. North Ward patient record Oscrim. Subject is a male, approximately 17 years of age, admitted for episodes of catatonia, followed by occasional violent outbursts. Initial analysis of soul revealed severe fragmentation and essence deficiency. Said deficiency all but eliminates the possibility of utilizing the subject in present research. Okay. Talk to Ethomore about Azo.
Hey.
Okay. What about you?
Gods keep you.
A young Orlan woman traces her fingers along the spines of the book in front of her, row by row, her motions quick and skittish, like a bird's. She does not notice you until you are nearly upon her. Oh my! You startled me. Are you supposed to be in here? No. Are you the animancer who's been buying relics? I am not an animancer, so no. But I do know that most of those relics are stolen from ruins in Irglanfath. Selling them is illegal. If there's nothing else, I need to get back to work. What do you do here? I mostly help Master Azo set up and clean his equipment. I also keep his office organized since he's too busy to do it himself. So this is his office, okay? I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Me? I'm just Master Azo's assistant. But there's a visiting scholar from Ravua. Her name is Belisage. She claims she knows about them. Very well. Okay. This is for me too. Note from Azo. Ripley, I require more copper tubing for my next experiment. Do not requisition it from the Sanitarium stores. I don't have the time to deal with the head warden's inevitable questions. Caedmon Azo.
Hey.
This guy seems like our guy.
Gods keep you.
Anything in here? Nope, just a cage. The edges of the cage are dented and scored with claw marks. Hello. I wouldn't mind being better armed, so what if it makes the clients a little nervous? I never thought I'd be taking orders from a talking statue. Okay, I guess we need to get in there. Let's go talk to the warden. See if he'll let us in. I mean, we just have suspicions about this guy, but, you know, maybe we can just say, hey, we need to talk to this guy. Can we get in there? Sort of thing. I don't know. Okay. Hello, sir.
Good day, stranger.
I found records that Azo may be running some questionable experiments. Experiments? Caedmon Azo is in charge of patient welfare now. He's not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Caedmon. I had hoped he would be the one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient wards. I'm granting you immediate access so you can find him. No doubt you will wish to speak to him further on this matter, and I, for one, am curious as to what he might have to say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would ask also that you do your best not to agitate the patients. They have had enough troubles as it is. All right. I will do my best. Interview Graham in the North Ward. He's one of the patients, right? Is that our task, or do we need to find Azo first? Let's look at our journal. Journal. Man who waits. Interview Graham. So that's who we need to talk to. We need to talk to Graham. Okay, so we're gonna go up here. Oh, I just remembered there was something I did in between sessions. I didn't do it. I went through all the grimoires, and apparently I had forgotten to look in the Ironclasped grimoire, which was Consulhat's. So we did get a cool spell. We have Consulhat's Crushing Doom, which I forgot to put in. We got this one, and there was another one. I think it was in here, maybe? Maybe in here. Yeah, Consulhat's Draining Missile. So let's take a look at these two, because I didn't look at them yet. Console Hot's a variant of Minoleta's minor missile, does raw damage, attacks the target's fortitude, and grants drained endurance to the caster. Versus, this is level 2. Well, this is actually, we're going to use this. Yeah, we're going to do that. Get rid of this one. Get that one. We'll get that one. And obviously we got the hammer. This is the really awesome move. A truly unique spell. Console Hot's Crushing Doom summons an enormous magical hammer that repeatedly slams down into its target, doing crush damage and knocking them prone. The hammer strikes repeatedly, becoming larger, more accurate, and more damaging each time. Badass. And we're going to get rid of... Is this the one that summons a duplicate? Let's get rid of the duplicate. I never use that. Actually, I want to try and use that. Let's get rid of the Delayed Fireball. Well, that sounds really cool too. I wish I could like put these spells like in the level above it kind of thing. Like heighten the spells. That'd be kind of interesting. We could always make another spell book too. Are we going to get any more 8th level spells, or are these like, this is it? That'd be interesting to know. Okay. Maybe if we had killed Lingrath, we would have gotten some. Anyway, let's save it. It's been a while. What's going on in here? Taxes collected. Adventure completed. Darren's returned to the stronghold with minor reputation and Gilded Veil. With Gilded Veil and money. Spoils await in the Great Hall Treasury Chest. Okay.
Hey.
Alright. Rather telling that they don't keep these poor sods up top. Yeah, I guess so. So it's in the North Ward, right? So it's going to be up here. I'm going to save it again. I know I just saved it, but... There's some flesh constructs. Frail. Do we want to talk to people? I guess we could say hi. A curved spine twists this woman's posture forward, her greasy hair draped over her large eyes like vines. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. And then, noting your appearance, she adds, a friendly visit, I hope. What do you know about the Animancer Azo? Do you know where I might find Azo? Have any of the patients here been acting unusually? Why are you in here? Behind her hair, her cheeks flush. I don't want to say. You'll think less of me. I wouldn't worry about that. When you blush, it brings out the color of your eyes. You can tell me. I'm going crazy too. I wouldn't worry about that. These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I try not to think of it as personal. I lost my husband and both boys in the Saints' War. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was even ever mine. I made do. What else can you do? I moved into a tiny place in Andra's gift. Got by mending clothes and on the kindness of strangers when I had to. But I was surviving and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then one day this noble woman comes in, wants this fancy gown fixed. Gorgeous thing. This shade of blue I'd never seen before. Only I had. I looked at it, and it reminded me of something. I had what they called an awakening. I remembered being a noble woman myself in another life. People doting over me, men doting over me, the best food, the most beautiful home, all the things you never dare to dream of, they were mine. It was poison, knowing that. All those things I had that I'll never have in this life. It did something to me. My food started to taste rotten. The walls in my little room seemed to close in around me. I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. So I came here. It was that or break into an estate and start ordering servants around. It seems like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me, but I can't get past it, and I start to wonder, did the gods choose this life for me? And if so, what terrible thing must I have done to deserve it? Let's talk about something else. Maybe you'll get there again one day. If not in this life, then in another. Don't want to say that, because then she might think she can kill herself and get to that life. Maybe the gods took offense to your overindulgence. Nobody deserves to go through what you've gone through. You've had it right before. You had it right before. There's nothing to do but live with it. She did go through some bad things, and I do feel like, nobody does deserve that, but I don't... Maybe the gods took offense to your overindulgence. Nah. I don't think that would be it either. I mean, maybe, but... Nobody deserves to go through what you went through. I hope not. I can't even imagine the monster who deserves what half the patients here go through every day. What do you know about this? What do you know about this animancer, Azo? Oh, I like him very much. Many animancers could care less about their patients. Look at us like vermin for their experiments. But Master Azo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself, and I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. What happened? Frail's eyes dart back and forth, and her voice lowers just above a whisper. They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be one of the brightest in Direwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was his ego that drove him to try and solve the legacy, but that's hogwash. Even if he was a bit of a showman, he loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work, suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me once that he had figured out a way to create a soul. Not a soul exactly, mind you. How did he put it? A proxy, I think he called it. Had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether. Can you imagine? The point is, it was going to help with the legacy. It was going to make Hollowboard into something easier to love and care for. Gods know, that's something we need. Do you know what they call those empty half-babies in Andra's gift? No, tell me. They call them buoys, because so many of them are found floating face down in the water. These are mad times. Anyway, Master Azo had scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copper Lane. He was so excited. And then the next day, he was locked in his office, turning away visitors, I heard. And he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't have the heart to ask him, but I'm glad they're letting him treat people again. Do you know where I might find him? I think I've seen him around today. Have you checked the laboratory? It shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of his time there lately. Have any of the patients been acting unusually? Well, there's Batixa, who relives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idelman, who they say only has half a soul, and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believes his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands, and wails at night sometimes. Different from their normal behavior, I mean. Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing they didn't volunteer for. Master Azo lets us know that a number of patients in the North Ward have volunteered for a new therapy and would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward has our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. It's Graham. I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he always was a bit of a wild one. Would I be able to visit the North Ward? They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guards allow a visitor, just Master Azo. You might ask him. He's very sympathetic. Farewell. Okay. Interview Graham, Sofeo mentioned... So Caedmon Azo is the only one with access to the North Ward, so we need to go find him first, apparently. Unless we want to just fight our way in. All these flesh constructs. Loot! Hello, is this the North Ward? Keep your distance. Wick's in the cell back there. We've had incidents when people got close. Oh, that's not a... It's not a thing. Really? It looks like it's a thing. Maybe it opens up later. Flesh constructs. Where did we see those before? Did we see those before? Who was making flesh constructs? Was that a different game? Could have been. Might be a different game. So that's the North Ward. It's locked. I'm guessing that's the North Ward anyway. It's in the northern area. And it's locked. So, was there... There wasn't a path down here, was there? Yeah, there was. Okay. Patient. Won't disturb you.
Look at this.
Hello. Oh, keeping some drugs hidden away, I see. Are these just their patient cells? Looks like it. More cells. Is a cell down here too? Yeah, okay. Alright. So that's his office. So this is his laboratory. Okay. Let's save it. Okay. There he is.
Why not? Stop me for long.
We'll unlock that. Ooh. Revenwing. A mace. A one-handed mace. Neat. Legend tells of a druid, wise and powerful, who traveled accompanied by a flock of ravens. In battle, the druid would assail his enemies with his mace, while the ravens descended in a chaotic swarm, distracting and flanking his foes. Years of coordinated attacks and the druid's lingering magic are said to have gifted his mace with an enchantment that lends the wielder a similar gifts. The mace is finely wrought and lightweight, making it maneuverable, if not very resistant, against direct attacks. Against a distracted opponent, however, a single blow often proves quite sufficient. Sounds powerful.
Hey.
Alright, what's in here?
Why not?
Another locked crate.
There, done.
Ooh. Blade Golan. Blade Golan, Wolfheart, is said to have been blessed by the Lord of the Hunt himself, a human hunter. Showing skill with a bow and arrow beyond any before seen, caught Galawain's attention one day. Galawain proposed a bargain. If the hunter could best him in a hunting contest, Galawain would present her with armor that would bestow upon her the power of a wolf. For a week, both hunters tracked their respective quarry through the woods, and when the contest was ended, the hunter had felled the most game. True to his word, Galawain presented her with the wolf heart, which gave her the crafty and evasive nature of its namesake. Minus 50% stun duration and knockdown duration, plus 50 defense while stunned and prone. And it's not that great. Not that great.
Hey.
I don't think, anyway. Hello, sir. Cadman Azo. A round-faced, balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled forward slightly by his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth when he scowls.
What is the meaning of this?
Ethelmore told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments. I heard you were demoted. How did it happen? I'd like access to the North Ward. Are you the animator who's been buying relics from Himmental? I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Let's gray these two out. Are you trying to discredit me? Go dig elsewhere.
What is it now?
I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. I don't have time to give you directions. Go bother somebody else. I'd like access to the North Ward. Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason. I've seen your records. I know what you're doing with them. So you can coerce them into your experiments? Freyl told me everything. I've been given permission to conduct my investigation down here. You'd best cooperate. Yeah, I've been given permission.
My answer is no. Whatever you're looking for, those patients will not be able to help you. The head warden will stand by me on this.
He told me you weren't supposed to be doing any more experiments. Yes, well, Ethelmore hasn't done much good for anybody since he had his soul moved into an inanimate object. So I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If animators all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be as backward and willfully ignorant as Red Saris. We know nothing about life. We would know nothing about life or death, or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. Animators must push the boundaries of knowledge, but you must be careful, Azo. Even Defiance Bay isn't as safe for research as it once was. You toy with things beyond our comprehension. It's dangerous and foolish. It seems to me we're still in the dark. Surely there are other paths that don't involve risking lives. You're right about that much. There are certain questions that have to be asked. I have no interest in arguing about this. It seems to me we're still in the dark.
Is that a reason to stop trying? Shall we remain in the dark until the end of time and have the last breath of the last person alive be breathed in ignorance? The gods want us to know. The clues are all around us. In understanding these truths, we honor their creation. Who will solve Widewen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an animancer, or it will be no one at all.
Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? I have, yes. No point in lying about it now that Ethelmore's involved. I asked for volunteers from our patients, and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifices would mean something. I heard you were demoted. How did that happen? Hazo's nostrils flare, and he bares his upper teeth more broadly. That's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this? Admir? That smug weasel? Things went wrong. Everything. I don't know how. I'll never know. He spits on the floor as if to remove a bitter taste from his mouth. Okay. Do I need to go to Ethelmore?
Hey. What is it now?
Okay. Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason. I've seen your records. I know what you're doing with them.
Those are private. You have no right.
He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger. A growl simmering beneath his breath, and a deep scowl compressing his face.
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
He pulls a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor before handing it to you. Farewell. Ah, I thought we were going to have to fight him.
Of course.
I guess it's probably for the best that he didn't fight me, since it's just 1 against 6. 7. I keep forgetting about a little guy here, Itumak. That's his name, Itumak. Well, we can go in here now. Nice and easy. Go ahead and close that door.
Hey.
Don't want anybody interrupting us. Is this my face? Tell me! Nobody in that one. Thundering sky, rain of blood, innocents must drown. This man has the look in his eyes of a haunted animal, and at your approach he staggers backward to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if it would get him further away from you. He cries out, a bizarre primal utterance, like nothing you have heard. I need to ask you some questions. Graham looks at you blankly. It is unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed, as though his tongue were cut out. They are impossible for you to discern, if indeed they are words at all. Aloth makes a noise of disgust. Those animancers did this to him. You can see what comes of their meddling. Azo ran experiments on you against your will, didn't he? He looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tentatively, he steps closer to the front of his cell, and as he does so, for the first time, you can perceive his soul within your kin. It is misshapen, as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gouged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. Do it. You project out toward the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it, its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you up into its depths. You're in a cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves, incomplete, broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rotund, balding man. His upper teeth and pointed nose remind you of a rat. He beckons, apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else. In your mind is a single word, and the word is no, but it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall, cornered. You cry out. In darkness, you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room, carrying a lit candle, its meager flames casting long shadows across books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown of your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantle his work. They dismantled his work, and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. And then he turns a knob, and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you torn away, like having your insides chewed up by a horde of rats. And you're screaming a scream you can barely hear. Continue searching. Another night. Heavy footsteps outside your door, coming for you. You look through a slit in your door. The flesh giant, the artificial being, just outside, but facing left, facing to the end of the hall. The boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor, like a shed of snakeskin. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away, and leaves. Decouple from Graham's soul. Graham looks at you, still wild-eyed, but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of the cell. As you regain awareness of what's happening around you, you realize that your head is in Pelagina's feathered hands. Her golden eyes are peering into your own, as though she is trying to catch a glimpse of activity lurking in the depths. As she sees your eyes respond, she wobbles your head a little and gives you a light slap. Letting go and stepping back, she regards you with concern. Everything's going to be alright in there? Everything going alright in there? Yep, thank you. Thank you for the slap. I needed that, I suppose. Can I talk to you anymore? Graham stares at the floor in some half-conscious state. Okay. So, there's a boy back here.
Poor people. This isn't the treatment that they were promised upstairs by the cushioned seats and lush carpets. Is that the cure for soul sickness? To be thrown into a cell and subjected to the whims of your captor?
They've made great advances here. I'm sure they know what they're doing. These animancers are as mad as their patients. These are lunatics and wastrels. At least here they serve some purpose. Maybe it is. How would you know? I doubt the wealthier citizens have the same experience. What were you expecting? I doubt the wealthier citizens have the same experience. I'm sure they have their share of family members they'd rather forget. But if all were treated like this, the sanitarium would never survive. What did these patients do to warrant such conditions? There are just as many who come here and are cured of their ills, people who would otherwise be cast aside. Here's the source of all that knowledge you are so giddy about. This is the cost of discovery. Someone has to pay it. The animancers justify their sadism with false cures and charlatans' tricks. Any good they've done is coincidence. Let's get moving. Feel like I should go for one of the resolve ones because it's my stat. But I don't know about those two. Someone has to pay it. The animators justify their sadism with false cures and charlatans' tricks. They have had some success, right? In certain fields. Not with the legacy, but any good they've done is coincidence. I don't know about that. The warden seems like he genuinely wants to help. And the one guy that had like the little lecture going on, he seems like he does some good. You know, trying to help with the Beerwick patients. Nan's, you know, she's a smuggler, so I don't know about her. And the one guy who wants to help with the Wicks, that guy seems like he's genuine too. The person study Awakening, they don't really seem like they know what they're doing, but they're earnest. So I don't think that's what we want to go with. People who otherwise would be cast aside. Yeah, there is some good being done here. Let's not focus on the negative. I hope so. I picked number 1 in case that wasn't clear. I hope so. Kana takes a deep breath. You're probably right. It's just hard to see. Let's be on our way. This place gnaws at the soul. Okay. What's in this cell here? It's an important one, apparently. Uskgrim. This is one of the people in the notes, too. A willowy adolescent boy stands in the center of his cell, gawkish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead, the occasional blink his only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed if you should wish it. Reach out. You close your eyes and edge forward toward the boy's soul, and as you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering, and straining for breath, as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to react, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You are standing in a cell now, the same cell in the sanitarium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the doors open, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds. The same stops every time, the misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you, collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing toward the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly, you think to yourself. Quickly, and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart toward the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and containing it. And contained in this new vessel, you are strong again. You step heavy-footed down corridors unheeded by other constructs and scrutinized only by the weary, untrustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers and the perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work, bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them, and they dissolve into a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on tiered seats of an amphitheater. You're acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you into a machine, the one you had tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl. But this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacuous. Unlike the others, this one has no soul of its own. The man speaks, and the crowd applauds with an enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. "Bear witness," he says, and he pulls a lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of the man's brow. But the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to awe as a crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens a valve, and the glow crawls through a tube along a length of copper wiring that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and settings, and playing puppeteer for Hollowborn. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment, the machine goes dark, and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientist's concern. He looks back up at the crowd. "Behold," he says, but there is obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly, you take a plodding step forward, then another, and another. We look up at the man, giving him the eye contact of which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. "How do you feel?" he asks, at a volume meant for the crowd. And this is the moment. At the top of your lungs, you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes toward you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength, you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, streaking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down onto the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panicked screams from the crowd, and by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse, in search of another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive, and a tall device encasing an Adra monolith at its center. The room is filled with people, and the people all look at the device. You are yanked suddenly back to reality, and the once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There is no mistaking now that it is the soul of Theos Ix Arcanon, the man you have been searching for, that gazes out from that borrowed husk. A watcher. You made me into a watcher. I need you to undo it. I believe we share a common past. I'm just looking for some answers. Not just a watcher. Someone who will break those frail little legs of yours if you don't do exactly what I tell you. Maybe just get right to it. I believe we share a common past. I'm just looking for some answers. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise, and his eyes soften for an instant, and it seems, for that moment, that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of what he was about to say. His jaw tightens. I know your look. You hunger. Hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backward with startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face, there is no malice, only the dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then, suddenly, he stumps forward. Uh-oh. No, Graham! No! Don't do it! Graham, no! Spiders. We need to kill this guy first. Okay. Let's move to this guy. Alright. Move up. Good, now we have the ranged where they need to be, and the melee where they need to be. So we can start doing this stuff. Hit him with that. You attack him. You attack him. Go ahead, hit him with this. Itimac, get in there. Okay. Now look at the damage we were doing. We go to the flesh construct. Everybody move to this guy. Okay. Oh, we leveled up. How much experience did we get from talking to him? So that was Theos. He didn't seem to care about us very much, did he? Okay. Everybody's screaming. Now, were they always screaming? Okay. Kana. I'm gonna save that. This is level 14, right? Yeah, okay. So you're still a level behind the other 2. 3. So, your next invocation. So sink thy biting winds, O Eldneri. Devastates enemies with a powerful blast of cold air that inflicts freeze damage, ignoring a large amount of damage reduction, and slows movement. It's a foe target, and jumps to targets. That's really good. It seems like a good one. Crush damage as well. What Raunaka found down the deep summons a swamp spore to fight for the chanter. We do like summon things for you, so that might be what we get. Their champion braved the horde alone. That's for you. Let's get this. Keep going with the summons. Can summon a swamp spore. And for this, right, you got the Warhammer now. Might want to get you some. Kind of like Bloody Slaughter for you, maybe. Don't need that. Do you have a model? You might want to get you a model, actually. Like vulnerable attacks, maybe. Or penetrating. That's for ranged. Interrupting blows. That could be good. We could get you just base damage. Or this. Grants a damage bonus while wielding a two-handed melee weapon. Yep, get that. Hold on. That was two-handed, right? Right. Two weapon is dual wielding. Okay, that's what we want. Two-handed weapon. Good. And then Sagani. Survival. And looks like we've got all of your class talents. What about this? The character has attuned themselves to the natural world like a druid and is able to focus its power on an enemy with the effects of the nature's mark spell. Foe AoE. That's kind of good. I kind of like that. It seems to match. Or we could get Marksman. Yeah, let's get Marksman. Simple, but I think it'll be for the best. Okay.
Hey.
Let's go ahead and loot.